When I checked your profile online, I saw that you are also an active user of social media. For example, you have a Twitter account. What was your initial purpose of starting to use social media?
Well, especially the Twitter was more personal. I mean, I've a broad interest in science, and I noticed, for example, that NASA tweets a lot about their science missions on Twitter. That was kind of the first kickoff. I thought that's an interesting way to follow news about that, because usually it doesn't really hit the main news. So now you can kind of directly follow it. And then I started from there, and I just started following more people that I found interesting. And because of my interest in science, I started following various scientists in other fields and seeing how they use Twitter to communicate with each other, but also to people outside their fields, kind of inspired me to try and start doing the same thing.
Did you also use Twitter or another social medium to attract attention for your research?
Well, I do it. So if I have a new paper or a blog post, I put it on Twitter. But in my field, there are not so many people that use Twitter. So I'm not sure for me whether it's really effective at gaining attention. So I've noticed now also on ResearchGate, I also have an account there. And there are more people from my field that follow me there. And I've noticed now also they just introduced this projects module. So I'm on a project with my supervisor, and that has gained a lot of attention. You can really see the numbers go up, which is quite interesting.
There's a very young development, you could say, in how the impact of scientists is being measured. It's called altmetrics, meaning that scientists will probably not be just evaluated based on the number of citations that their work receives, but they will also start looking at how often are scientists being referred to in the media, how often is their work being tweeted, how many downloads do they get for their work, etc. What's your view on this development of altmetrics?
Well, I'm a bit mixed on it. On the one hand, I think it's good that people realize that the current metrics, which is like mainly impact factors or citation scores, that those are kind of insufficient to really capture all the impact that science can have. So it's good that we keep on thinking about what are the better ways of measuring this and of judging scientists or the quality of their work. But I think there's kind of a danger if it just becomes just another score, and in the end you have 30 different scores that you all have to keep high in order to get a job somewhere, and you're just chasing after scores rather than doing good science. Okay.
So you say it might cause scientists to focus too much on the metrics and too little on the science itself.
Yeah, because in the end, I think the point of these metrics is to kind of allow people who are outside your field to still have an idea of how good your work is. If you go to administrators or funding agencies that are not in your field, then they want a number so they can say, well, this person is more worthy of getting the job than that person, or we should give the grant to person A and not to person B. And that's what these metrics are for, but yeah, they can kind of become overriding if you really have to squeeze your science to boost the metric rather than to just do what you think is best for science.
Do you have any nice or fun or positive experiences that resulted from your use of social media?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I mentioned ResearchGate earlier. So I have a profile there, and then of course every week you get this email with numbers, and it's always a question what those numbers really mean, but it's kind of nice to see, oh, my research was read by 5 people from China and 2 people from Germany and someone from Brazil this week. So to really see, people all over the world are seeing your research, it's really nice. Also on Twitter, although there are no people from my field that I follow, there are some people from other scientific fields, and for example, recently one of a grant application was rejected, so I posted about that, and I got a lot of supportive messages from people. They're not in my field, but they all know what it feels like to have your grant rejected. So it's kind of a nice way to kind of build a network and a support network outside your own field.
Then finally, do you have any tips and tricks for the viewers on how they, as researchers, could effectively use social media?
Yeah, I think the main thing is to realize there are lots of forms of social media out there. I'd say just start experimenting, follow people, determine which people you like and what you like about their style, whether you can emulate that, and really just find something that works for you. There are lots of opportunities, and there's no need to chase everything. Just think what you want to achieve with social media and find something that allows you to do that.